I already uploaded a video explaining some of these. Let me explain one more, but if you want, watch the other video for sure. Just want to explain one more. Let's say I wanted to graph h of x. It's kind of like if you had y equals 1/2 x plus 1. So if I did write y equals 1/2 x plus 1, I know it crosses at 1 and my slope is up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, and I could use that pattern backwards to extend it in the other direction. And normally I would do my entire line. If you have a pen, don't do this, right? Because you're going to have to erase. Now, what are we going to have to erase? Because the only piece that you want to show, the condition says if x is less than or equal to -2. So here's -2 on the x. It's right here. So I don't want to show any of this. Less than is to the left. I only want to show this portion from the -2 this way. And it is a solid dot. So I'm going to put a solid dot at -2 and just show this portion. I want to erase this part up here. So that's what I'm going to do. Erase that top part. And I have my first piece. Any questions? Now let's move on. The next piece is y equals -x plus 0, right? So if you want, you could write that on the side. Y equals -x plus 0. So that's going to cross at 0, and my slope is what? Down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, and you could use that pattern backwards to extend it as long as you want. However, I mean, we already know that lines go in both directions forever. You'd put arrows on it. But we know that we only want to show a certain portion of this. You want to show your x's between the values of -2 and 1, where -2 is going to have an open dot and 1 is going to have a solid dot. So let's go to the x value of -2, which is right here. Here's -2 on the x. Here is +1 on the x. So it's between these two. So you only want to show this from here to here, just this portion of it right here, from -2 to 1. If you're still confused about this, you might want to get like a piece of paper and cover up everything to the left of -2. And you might want to get another piece of paper and cover up everything to the right of +1. So right here we truly are showing between the -2 on the x and the +1 on the x also. And we know that at -2 it's going to be an open dot, so you need to erase this and put an open dot here and a solid dot there. That's what I'm going to do. And now from there we need to do the last one. The last one I'm going to do in green. So it's saying y equals 2x minus 3. You could write that y equals 2x minus 3. So it crosses the y-axis at -3. And from that point I go up 2 over 1. And right here I end up at the same point of the other one, and I keep going up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and extend it as far as I need to. Okay, but of course I'm not going to write the whole thing because I'm going to have to erase a portion of it. And what portion of it do I need to erase? It says I only want to show the x values that are greater than 1. So if you go to your x-axis, here's 1. Greater than would be to the right side. So you want to show everything from this value to the right. You don't want to show it to the left. So with the piece of paper, you could say, okay, here's 1. Here's 1. I want to show everything on this side of it. So it'd be at this same dot going that way, but you don't want to show any of this part of it. So let's erase that part of it. So here we go. That's it. Well, technically that would be an open dot right there on the green. And it does go in that direction forever. So what is the domain of this thing? Does it go to the left forever? Does it go to the right forever? Yes. Is there any gaps? No, that's an open dot, solid dot, that's good, solid, solid, that's good. So the domain is x equals all real numbers. X equals all real numbers. How about the range on this thing? What's the range? The up and downs. Does this thing, does any piece of these three point up? Do any piece point up? Yes, the green one points up. And so it goes up forever. And does any piece go down forever? Yeah, this purplish blue one, right? It goes down forever. So it really is y equals all real numbers for the range. Okay? Let's jump around. Let's go to this bottom portion. A lot of people get confused with this bottom portion. It's really easy to do. If I say, like number 9, for example, r of 0, you need to go to the r function, which is this one right here, and you want to plug in 0, right? It said r of 0. Question is, where do we plug in 0? Is 0 less than or equal to -2? No, 0 is greater than negative numbers. Is 0 between -2 and +1? Yes, 0 is between -2 and +1. So I would plug it into the middle portion of the r of x function. Now the thing is, there is no x, so you can't actually plug it in, but you know that this is going to be your answer. So your answer is 1. So r of 0 is actually 1. Okay, so a lot of these answers end up being 1. That doesn't mean that those are the answers on the quiz tomorrow on the retake, all right? Let's look at a different one. Let's look at a different one with r also. R of -8, same one. So let's go to the r function. Let's go to -8. So -8 is not between -2 and 1. It's -8 is not greater than +1. -8 is definitely less than -2. So you'd plug in a -8 right here. And in order to do that, I recommend showing your work, doing the math. So up there on that top portion of r of x, it's -1/2 times, and we said we're going to be plugging in -8, and it still has a -2 at the end. So put that -8 over 1. That way you could multiply the -1 times -8. That gives you a +8, and then the 2 times 1, which gives you a 2. And you still have the -2 that's at the end right there. And 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 4 take away 2 is 2. So r of -8 really does equal 2. R of -8 really does equal 2. And that's how you do that bottom portion. You just got to look at which function you're using, whether it's f, r, g, or h, and then also plugging in the number that they tell you to plug in. And you need to know which piece you're plugging it into by looking at the condition, right? So for example, let's say p of 0. Okay, here's p. Where's 0 at? Is 0 less than -2? No. Is 0 between 1 and -2? Yes. So you plug it in. You plug in 0 right in here. And 0 plus 1 would give you the answer 1. Okay, so it's a really easy thing to do once you get used to it. Just practice plugging in and finding which piece you're actually using based on your conditions. So there's a different video. I didn't explain every single question on this, but the answers are on the back. So I hope this is enough to get you ready for the quiz tomorrow.